how are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you.
So we've grabbed Ortis from the Gadget Show down here at BCS Information Pioneers, and he's been talking to us about what got him geeky and gadgety from a young age, and also going beyond that with Ada Lovelace, because he's representing her this year. So, Ortis, what is it that got you into gadgets and geekery as a child?
As a kid, I was into not electronic toys, but mechanical toys. I had an Evel Knievel Sidewinder, which was basically a model of Evel Knievel on a bike-type contraption that you would sit in a machine that you would wind up, and once you reached a certain number of revs, Evel and the Sidewinder would whiz off and do wheelies or jumps or anything that you wanted him to do.
Was that because he was crazy?
He was a bit nuts, but I also had Action Man, and I had a submarine that you would pump air into, and he would come up from the bottom of the bath. The bath was my Atlantic Ocean, where he would solve different, world threats, etc. So I didn't take my toys apart to find out how they work, but every once in a while I did want to find out what it was that made those things tick, and it was stuff like that that made me go on to take physics, chemistry and maths at A level. So there is a geek inside me that I've let out, and I let out every once in a while.
Okay. So when you were starting to play with your Action Man with all his geeky gadgets, which bits were the coolest?
Which bits?
Were the coolest ones? Was it the gadgetry itself, or was it what you could do with him and the imaginative side of things?
It was what I could do with them and the imaginative side, and talking about what Action Man was doing, where he was going, what the enemy looked like, and how strong it was, and what it would take from him to overcome them, what weapons perhaps he'd use, or what gadgets he had in his back pocket to defeat the enemy.
So, going from that passion, how on earth did you end up getting through science, engineering kind of subjects? Because most kids get bored when they get to that point of, oh, I've got to go and sit in a science lab, or I've got to go and study this stuff. What kept you going?
I was just always fascinated with, maybe not always what something was, but what made it up. Do you know what I mean? And why things reacted in a certain way. So in terms of chemistry, I wanted to know what happened to things when you set them on fire. But obviously I couldn't do this outside of a lab. And why a rock of coal and a diamond are the same but very different. I wanted to know why these things were the case. And also with stuff like physics, why stars stayed in the sky, why they burned brightly, what governed how long they lasted, what effect one star had on another, or one planet had on another, why we stay on the ground and don't fall up into the sky, all those things that we engage in every day but take for granted, I was always interested in. And in terms of gadgets are things that we use every day, we take them for granted, especially something as revolutionary as the mobile phone, which doesn't just make phone calls now. There are so many different apps on it, you can do a million and one things. For me, it's not just about making a phone call or using the phone, it's about what goes into it to enable it to do that, and why can one company do it much better than another company. So it was those kind of things that got me into finding out more about gadgets and tech.
Cool. And going on from there, who were your inspirations as a child in terms of gadgets and technology?
I didn't have any gadget heroes, but growing up, Einstein was a major one because he was the scientist du jour. Newton. How did somebody centuries ago determine something that is still law today? A lot of people look at the technology you've got around you and think that it's impossible to come up with certain formulas and equations that are law in terms of chemistry and physics, but these were developed centuries ago before computers or anything like that. And that's why I think it's important that we learn about our pioneers, those people that were responsible for bringing to us the things that we use today that we take so much for granted.
If you were to choose one female pioneer, who would you choose and why?
Well, I'm aware of a small handful of them now, but for me it is Ada Lovelace. For me, she worked with Charles Babbage, the the father of the computer, but she saw in what he was doing something more. She took his ideas, his notions, his brain machinations, and she made them greater than what they are. And that is something that women in general do so well. They will look at a standard idea and they will see a lot of other possibilities, so many more functionalities within it. They help to they flower it out in that you can really appreciate what you're looking at, but they also help to take an idea and give it distance. Do you know what I mean? Give it longevity. This is something that Ada Lovelace did without question. A computer, a fellow who just left said he would be voting for Ada Lovelace because he said essentially a computer is a machine. It can only do what you tell it to do, and you can only tell it to do something through software. And you can only tell the software to tell the computer what to do through programming it. And you can only program something thanks to what Ada Lovelace did for us way back in 1843.
Perfect. So if you were to try and inspire a young person today, a young female say, where would you suggest she started?
When I was at school, we had careers advisors, careers teachers. So you would go to that person and say to them, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in that, where can I go? But I understand that not every school has it. And not every school that has a careers advice teacher has a good one. You have at your fingertips the best teaching aid there is. It's the internet. Go on there, anything you're interested in, Google it, research it, find out more about it. If you're passionate about it, look it up. If it's something that you want to know more about, it's up to you. Ask some of your elders what they think. But you really are just a keyboard and a few finger taps away from finding out more about what it is you want to do. And there aren't enough women in the realm of computers and information technology. And Ada Lovelace was someone who showed you back in 1843 that you can do it. So don't let her legacy disappear. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just go out there and do your thing. You can do it just as well as anybody else, any other boy out there, any other young person. You all have so much more power to do what you want to than, we did. And I'm not even that old. But that's how rapidly things are changing.
Perfect, thanks very much.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.